moments when we call someone and they answer and we cannot remember why we called them. Or we walk into a room and don't remember why we went in there. How do you know when these situations are simply normal forgetfulness or a more serious memory disease like Alzheimer's? Well, today I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a brief anatomy lesson of the brain and the brain's functions, tell you what Alzheimer's is and how it affects the brain, discuss 10 warning signs, and lastly, a few myths of the disease. My knowledge of Alzheimer's comes from both my research and daily experience working in long-term care. According to the Rice textbook, the brain is the largest mass of nervous tissue in the body, weighing about 1,380 grams in males and 1,250 grams in females. It consists of millions of nerve cells and fibers and is our most powerful organ with a texture similar to firm jelly. The brain has three main parts: the cerebrum in the front part of the skull, which is in charge of our personality, our speech, and our movement; the cerebellum in the back of the skull, which is in charge of balance and coordination; and the brainstem. The brain also has a very rich network of veins, capillaries, and arteries. According to the Alzheimer's Association, this network requires between 25 and 50% of the oxygen in the blood with each heartbeat, depending on the activity you're involved in. Consisting of about 100 billion nerve cells, with branches that connect at more than 100 trillion points, signals are sent through these neurons so that we can form memories, thoughts, and feelings. Even the wrinkled outer surface of the brain called the cortex has a special function. And here you will see the cortex. By definition, Alzheimer's is a severe form of senile dementia, according to the Rice textbook. The disease affects memory, thinking, and behavior and worsens over time. There is currently no cure for Alzheimer's. However, researchers are making advancements in symptom control. The cause of Alzheimer's is not known entirely, but is believed to include both genetic and environmental factors. According to the Alzheimer's Association, the two main symptoms include cognitive and behavioral changes. A person with Alzheimer's may have trouble with language, memory, judgment, and perception. They may misplace items, get lost on familiar routes, and have language problems, such as remembering the name of a familiar object or person. As the disease progresses, the person may forget events in their own life history, have difficulty reading or writing, have arguments, strike out, and have violent behavior. These symptoms are often difficult for loved ones to witness. The task of caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's can be very demanding on the care provider. According to the helpguide.org website, there are a few tips to help the caregiver and the patient have a more engaging and less stressed day. These tips are: structure the day, have consistent cues about the day, for example, set bath and dress times, set meal times, go outdoors, have visitors, and set bedtimes. These patterns help the patient feel more in control of their life. As the disease progresses, the brain's neurons are damaged and plaques of neurons build up. These symptoms, this buildup causes the symptoms I've mentioned earlier to progress. And here you will see a healthy neuron forest with all the neurons touching it, forming a healthy transmission. And here you will see the plaques where the Alzheimer's has damaged the neurons. According to the Alzheimer's Association, scientists are not exactly sure what causes the cell death and tissue loss, but plaques and tangles are the prime suspects. Here you will see the size of a normal brain, and this is the size of a patient with Alzheimer's, and you will see it's much smaller because of the decreased tissue size. So, we have now discussed Alzheimer's. Now let's discuss warning signs given by the Alzheimer's Association. Warning signs for the disease are memory loss that disrupts daily life, challenges in planning or solving problems, difficulty completing familiar tasks at home, at work, or at leisure, confusion with time or place, trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships, new problems with words and speaking and writing show up, misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace your steps, decreased or poor judgment, withdrawal from work or social activities, and changes in mood and personality. Lastly, let's discuss the myths of the disease, also given by the Alzheimer's Association. One myth that the Alzheimer's Association gives is that memory loss is a natural part of aging. There is no scientific research to prove that memory loss is a natural part of aging. The number 2 myth is Alzheimer's disease is not fatal. Alzheimer's disease is fatal over long term. Myth number 3 is only older people can get Alzheimer's. There are people in their 30s and 40s and even in their 50s that get Alzheimer's. Myth number 4 is drinking out of aluminum cans and cooking pots made of aluminum can cause Alzheimer's. There is no research to prove that fact. Myth number 5, aspartame causes memory loss. Aspartame is an artificial sweetener placed in some foods and drinks. Aspartame has not been linked to Alzheimer's. Flu shots increase a risk of Alzheimer's disease is myth number 6, and that has also not been proven. Myth number 7 is that silver dental fillings increase your risk of Alzheimer's. Dental fillings have not been traced to link Alzheimer's and increased risk. I hope that you now have a better understanding of what Alzheimer's is, its effects on the brain, symptoms and myths of the disease, so that if your loved one is diagnosed, you can better care for them.